Are you looking for an athletic scholarship? You're in the right place. This is the Recruit Me Athletic Scholarship Podcast, the longest-running podcast on recruiting and athletic scholarships. We're here to help your family navigate the recruiting road all the way to an athletic scholarship. He's a recruiting expert and a dad of a D1 athlete and a newly committed high school athlete that just received an athletic scholarship. He's got a wealth of experience to share. Here's Recruit Me CEO, Brent Hanks.
Parents, it's your turn for spring cleanup. Welcome to episode 296 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. The Athletic Scholarship Podcast is one of the many free and inexpensive recruiting education resources that Recruit Me provides. Recruit Me and recruit-me.com is the place you go to get educated about the recruiting process for both high school student athletes and even junior college student athletes and four-year college student athletes because of the transfer portal. I encourage you to take advantage of the free recruiting power pack that is on the homepage of recruit-me.com. Or you can get the free recruiting power pack by clicking on the link below in the show notes. The free recruiting power pack gives you a great start on your recruiting journey. You get a PDF that helps you understand the first 4 things you need to do right away, plus a when and how to use video tutorial and a template for a player profile. Get started today at recruit-me.com. Also, take advantage of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. The Athletic Scholarship Podcast is the world's longest-running recruiting education podcast for parents and student athletes, and it explores every aspect of recruiting and athletic scholarships. The Athletic Scholarship Podcast is climbing toward 300 episodes that cover many subjects that include interviews from college coaches, college athletes, and parents of student athletes. Listen to past episodes on your favorite podcast app or go to recruit-me.com and click on the Recruit Me Podcast tab. Last week's episode 295, was It's Springtime, and it contained 4 items that high school student athletes can do this spring to rev up their recruiting. The 4 items were turned toward the high school student athlete, but parents need to know what's going on too. The items were, number 1, take care of academics. Number 2, work on your sports skills. Number 3, communicate with college coaches. And number 4, get help from a parent or a mentor. So go back and listen to last week's episode. This week we tilt more toward 4 things that parents need to do to assist with their son or daughter's recruitment. Here is item number 1 that parents can do for their son or daughter's recruitment this spring. Discuss the process with their student athlete. This is kind of a continuation of item number 4 of last week's episode. I suggested the student athlete get a parent or mentor involved. So as the parent, you can take the initiative to discuss the recruiting process with your student athlete. No matter where you are, just starting, in the middle, or at the end, some planned sit-downs are needed. And this spring is a good time to do that. Get out of the house and get a coffee, grab a lunch, or go to dinner and find out what's going on in your kid's mind. If it is the high schooler's freshman or sophomore year, then talk about the possibility of playing a sport in college, the possible parameters of what they want in a college, like the level of play, NCAA Division I, Division II, or Division III, or NAIA or JUCO, the distance away from home, and the likes or dislikes of a college size, the size of a town, or any other parameters. If the student athlete is a junior or a senior, then you can do the same, but do it with more urgency and more of a list-making discussion or a narrowing discussion of the colleges they are interested in. Item number 2 is the parent should be the scheduler. Get a calendar out or get the Recruit Me Athletic Scholarship 24-month planner and journal to plan out with the student athlete involved a schedule of having a college list of 30 to 40 schools researched, getting an introductory email written, filling out a player profile, getting a recruiting questionnaire put together, getting videos ready and edited, and much more. All of the previously mentioned resources are on recruit-me.com website, or there are links in the show notes below. Guide your student athlete of reminders for them to send updates to college coaches, take the ACT or SAT tests, schedule unofficial and official visits. I may just be talking about my 2 sons, but I know it takes at least 3 reminders from me for them to complete a task that they are supposed to get done. Controlling the calendar is a great way a parent helps in the background. Along with being a scheduler, you, the parent, need to be the administrator or the overseer. Don't do the work mentioned above yourself, but be the supervisor, the proofreader, and the encourager. I'll talk about the encourager later. Our family had both of the boys make an email address that was in the boy's name, and that was accessible to both our son and to us, the parents. The email was set up something like suttonhanks03@yahoo.com. And again, it was used primarily for just recruiting, and it needs to stay alive after high school because of its use in setting up the NCAA and NAIA eligibility centers, and maybe even the ACT or SAT websites. Usually, a different specific college email will be produced when the student registers for college. With all the communications with coaches, it is helpful to not have other emails mixed into the recruiting emails to and from coaches. The parent can read and discuss the next steps the student-athlete needs to take after an email comes in, but only the students need to respond and communicate with the college coaches. Those communications can be through emails, DMs, text, or by phone. An input from a parent can give guidance to the student-athlete. Remember, as the student-athlete's junior and senior years arrive, schoolwork, sports, dances, clubs, graduation, work, and outside school activities become more prominent. So help your student-athlete enjoy high school as much as possible. Plus, you are teaching them organization, time management, record keeping, and note-taking. And these are all great life lessons. Speaking of time management, the RecruitMe 3.0 system is a great time saver. Another way to look at your parent role is very well described by keepplayingbaseball.org. Keep Playing Baseball, KPB, describes a parent's role as a driving instructor. It looks like the student is in control, but instructions, remember loving instructions, are given throughout the drive. And sometimes the instructor has to have the student driver pull over and stop to make corrections. KeepPlayingBaseball.org is a great website about baseball recruiting, but it also is very handy for any other sport. I would recommend you go check it out. John Fugler, the founder of RecruitMe, had this to say about a parent's role in the recruiting process.
It was really a partnership. We were kind of, as you know, kind of like the secretary, the admin, in getting all back then, the paperwork out and the phone calls that were coming in and all of that. Now it's, of course, the digital world, but you still have to keep it all organized. And we felt that was our job as parents, but our kids really needed to put forth the effort to personally contact the coaches, take those phone calls. We couldn't just become their agents, really. They needed to get personally involved. But it was pretty interesting with two kids going through this process.
The last item number 4, is be an encourager. Your son or daughter will need this. There will be a lot of ups and downs. Not getting attention is frustrating. Getting attention and then getting ghosted is frustrating. Getting rejected is frustrating. Remember, if you do the recruiting system correctly, there will be 30, 40, 50 emails or contacts to colleges. Maybe half respond, maybe 25% respond. That equals a lot of rejections. But encourage your student-athlete that you are just looking for just that one good fit. Also, remember your student-athlete is just 16, 17, 18 years old. They are dipping their toe into the world of adults, the world of business, and winning at any cost. Remember, most of the coaches' jobs depend on them winning. Also, as contacts to colleges are made and visits and offers are made, more pressure is felt by most student-athletes. Parents, keep your student-athlete focused on their academics and their game. You'll have to help your child keep a positive attitude and keep moving forward. Over the last 2 episodes, episode 295 and on this episode 296, there are some key points to parent-athlete teamwork. Working as a team throughout the whole process will be less stressful for both the parent and the student-athlete. Working together as a team helps the student-athlete focus on his or her academics, improving athletically, and on communicating with college coaches. Remember, this is not a sprint if you start early in high school by educating yourself and researching schools. The shared workload will pay off. In the Athletic Scholarship Playbook, in the chapter Advice from RecruitMe Families, Chris said, as a parent and prospective student-athlete, you must be willing to put in the time and effort to receive your reward. Also, Patricia said, I'm the one that read the manual and helped my daughter put her package together, but then she took over and did everything that needed to be done. She took over the emails, the updates, the phone calls to the coaches. That's important because it shows how much the student-athlete really wants it. Bob added, yes, you do the work, But it's worth it in the end because you have total control and focus on your son or daughter and don't leave it up to someone who's looking after several interests. And Todd added, "We sent out 55 introductory packets and began receiving letters and emails within a week. He got 20 letters of interest and the correspondence continued to flow in. We continued to follow the process through his last 2 years in high school, and we expect to gain a scholarship. The process has opened the doors and has him on the radar of coaches." I think it's interesting in Todd's information that he, as the dad, he got 20 letters, meaning the son, and we followed the process as the family worked together through the recruiting process. Back on episodes 239 and 240, I did an interview with Coach Barry Henson. Barry Henson has been the head coach at Oral Roberts University, Missouri State University, and Southern Illinois University. He also has been the assistant at Kansas University and now is a basketball analyst for the coaching staff at Oklahoma State. Here's some great insight into a parent's role and the need for mentorship by a student athlete in the recruitment process.
And you have to make sure that you have somebody that is helping you through the process, whether it be your high school coach, someone in AAU, a counselor that understands or that's been in Division I athletics, or people like you that are providing a podcast to where they can learn these things in order to help their sons and daughters later on.
This episode and last week's episode 295, covered items anyone can do this spring season. Last week's episode was tilted toward the student athlete, and this week's episode was leaning more toward the parents. Both parties need to listen to both of these two episodes, though. Be a team. Last week's episode had 4 items that are a great way to take on recruiting this spring, mainly for the student athlete. Number 1 was take care of your academics. Number 2 was work on your skills. Number 3 was communicate with college coaches. And number 4 was get help from a parent or a mentor. This episode covers number 1, parents discuss the recruiting process with your student athlete. Number 2, parents be the scheduler. Number 3, parents be the behind-the-scenes administrator. And number 4, parents be an encourager. My intent with Recruit Me is to provide you with as many free and inexpensive resources to answer the how-tos, the when-tos, and the how-oftens. Along with these free resources, Recruit Me has the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System. The Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System is the cornerstone of Recruit Me. Now, the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System is not free, but it's only $127, and it is a very inexpensive resource that is a proven step-by-step solution to control your recruiting process and get you an athletic scholarship. John Fugler, the original owner of Recruit Me and the original podcaster of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, developed the Recruit Me 3.0 system. There are videos he made that are how-to videos that make it easier to get recruited. Along with the videos is a 200-plus page manual with a workbook full of templates to help you not have to reinvent the wheel. This step-by-step manual has the 10 myths about athletic scholarships, the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship, a chapter on how and when to use videos, how to choose the right camps and showcases, how to register with the eligibility centers, parent-athlete teamwork advice, advice for foreign and international students, junior college students, and homeschool students. The manual also covers the importance of your academics, how stats impact your recruiting, what to ask a college coach, recruiting rules, and how to study in high school and college. So don't spend thousands of dollars on a recruiting service. Give the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System a try. I have a combo special where you not only get the Recruit Me 3.0 system, but you get a $35 valued QR Recruiter Draft Tag. Go to qrrecruiter.com for more information on the draft tag. Give it a try, and if the system doesn't work for you, then there's a 90-day money-back guarantee. And you get to keep the QR Recruiter Draft Tag. Upcoming episodes, episode 297 and 298, will be parts 1 and 2 of an interview with a college basketball player, Quinn Nelson. Quinn has just completed his 4 years of basketball at Southwest Baptist University in Bolivar, Missouri. Southwest Baptist is an NCAA Division II program. Hear about Quinn's college experience, how his recruitment to SBU happened, and get his advice on how to get recruited. Join me next week for another 15 minutes that will change your athletic scholarship future on the Athletic Scholarship Podcast.